So I just learned from Guilherme on Twitter the easiest way to set a timeout for your fetch calls that I had never seen before. But my next question became, how do I differentiate this error versus other errors? According to GitHub Copilot, it's this, but according to TypeScript, it's not. It turns out abort error is just a hallucination. Instead, we need to check error.name equals abort error. But what if we want to check for other error cases, like a 500 status? You might think you go down here and check error.status. And despite more AI hallucinations, this doesn't exist. That's because it's easy to forget that fetch does not throw errors for bad status codes. You need to check result.ok and handle this yourself. Personally, I don't love my success cases and my error cases, like 500 errors, to be intermingled. So personally, I like to do this. I want to actually throw this as an error, and then we can handle it in the catch block. Except we have a new problem. Despite this AI hallucination, we really don't have a way to get the error status from a generic error we threw. So here's one last trick I like to do to make really nice fetch calls. I'll create my own error class. For instance, HTTP error extends error. I'll take the response as a parameter and give it a message based on what the status code was. And then down below, I can just check if error instance of, and now we can do whatever we want. Like if error.response.status equals 404, we handle that's not found, 500, handle that the server had an error, etc. And then if you really want to clean this up, we can make our own simple tiny fetch wrapper. And now our code can just look like this. Simple fetch is a tiny wrapper. And to make things even more fun, I like to add a type parameter. So when I get my results, it will always be a person with full type checking. And that type safe convenient simple fetch function is just a few lines of code. So if we now export these, we can use these anywhere in our applications. We can have simpler and more type safe code with nicer error handling. If you're interested in more tips like this on better ways to fetch data in JavaScript, I've got a whole blog post on this with a bunch of other useful tips.